I'm Monica Delgado. I'm currently a senior at Carpinteria High School, and I've lived in Carpinteria my whole life. And I really like it here. Right now, I'm starting to hear back from some colleges, and it's exciting to see possibilities where I might end up.
What schools did you go to while you were here in Carpinteria?
I started off at Canalino Elementary School, and then from there I went to Carpinteria Middle School, and then right now I'm at Carpinteria High School.
Do you have any thoughts about the different schools?
It's great to go into school with the same people and leave with them. A lot of them I've been in school with for the past 12 years, and it's just awesome to see everyone grow up beside you.
Nice. What are some of your favorite classes and subjects now, and why?
Some of the favorite classes I've taken, definitely AP Chemistry. The teacher, Mr. Gomez, makes the class really engaging and fun, and you can tell he's really passionate about the sciences. And ceramics, right now I'm taking ceramics, and seeing the interconnections between chemistry and ceramics, especially like when you're glazing, has been really fascinating to me. And it's something I enjoy to do, as a hobby, as a way to relieve myself, from stress.
And that is one of my other questions. Do you have any other hobbies, or I guess ceramics is one of them?
Ceramics, and I love taking care of plants. My room has converted into a jungle ever since my sisters moved out, and it's something I've really enjoyed to do in my free time.
What part of town do you live in?
I live in on Baylord Avenue, so right across from the Bluffs.
How's that living up there? Is it a problem that you're a little ways from downtown or in school?
It was a challenge, definitely, but during COVID, I found myself riding my bike a lot, downtown, and it was nice to kind of be away from the action.
Nice. And how do you get to school now at Carp High?
Right now, my mom takes me to school. I'm in the process of getting my driver's license.
Have you been in any after-school programs? And if so, tell me about them.
Yeah, so ever since kindergarten, I've been involved in the after-school program at Girls Inc. of Carpinteria. And I did that until about 8th grade. And I've also been involved with Carpinteria Aquatics Club. And it was there that I found my love for swimming, and I played on the swim team and on the water polo team in high school.
Wow, nice.
Mm-hmm.
And do you know what you want to do for a living yet?
Right now, I don't have a specific career in mind, but I really would like to see more of the intersections between the sciences and their application to real life. So I think something like chemical engineering or food chemistry would be cool.
Do you have any thoughts on what are some of the issues in life that need to be tackled that maybe you'd like to have a hand in it?
Definitely food insecurity. As I mentioned earlier, I want to go into food chemistry, and as someone who has faced insecurity, food insecurity, being able to create produce that can last longer and reach families, who don't have access to like fresh farms or produce like we do here in Carpinteria. And I think aiding in that would be something I'm interested in.
Have you had food insecurity?
Yes.
Interesting. So I guess a certain amount of people in town have experienced that, right?
Yes, definitely. Especially, growing up in the midst of a recession. Something.
Tell me, do you have any brothers and sisters? And tell me about your parents.
Yeah, I have two older sisters, one Andrea, who's 10 years older than me, and then Anna, who's I think 6 or 5 years older than me. And my parents came here from Mexico. My dad came here as, I think he was 14 years old, and he went to Carpinteria High School. His dad worked here as a bracero in the 50s and 60s, and my mom came in later in the 90s. And she used to be a physician, and she gave up everything, to come here and build a better life for us, me and my sisters.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been involved in any community programs?
Like I mentioned earlier, I was in Girls Inc. And right now I'm a lifeguard at Carpinteria Community Pool. So that has been really fun to see and fun to do swim lessons over the summer with younger kids. And it's been a really fun experience.
Nice. How about, have you done any community service?
Right. Last year I did statistics for boys water polo, and that was really fun to travel with the team during a record-breaking season and kind of seeing their growth throughout the season as well. And I also volunteer at Girls Inc.'s Operation Holiday Cheer, which gives away gifts to families in need each Christmas. Yeah.
Well, what do you like about water polo?
I've never done a team sport before, so kind of freshman year, me throwing myself into that space was really challenging, but also so fun to see, and learning how to work with a team and be a leader and working with the other girls has been super fun. They're really funny.
Do you use the Carpinteria community pool?
Yes, I'm there, and I have been there for like the past 8 years of my life. And it's fun to see.
It's a good facility, huh?
Yeah, it's a great facility, and it's even greater to work at.
Nice. Have you had any jobs outside of school?
Aside from lifeguarding, I guess I did a short internship at Fleer Technologies, and it was really awesome to work alongside chemists at a young age, and seeing that I can also belong in those spaces, and I learned so much from that, and that really kind of solidified my interest in chemistry and science.
Do you know what you want to do in chemistry? I guess you said some, but can you tell me what is it you think you want to do in chemistry?
In chemistry, I'd want to do, like I said, like kind of like chemical engineering, and kind of applying that to kind of like food chemistry and yeah.
And does that relate to food insecurity, looking at things to do with having food more abundant?
Yes, because you can actually go in, kind of change the chemical structure of produce, or mix them with different types of produce to make them have a longer shelf life and make them travel easier, and that's something I'm interested in.
Have you had anything to do with any of the ag facilities here in town?
No, I have not, but FFA at Carpinteria High School has been something that's really been cool to watch. Mr. Gomez actually would talk about it a lot, and he would kind of make these connections between agriculture and chemistry, and that was cool to see.
Have you gotten any special awards?
Yeah, so last year I won the Lucille Miller Wright Scholarship. It's a National Girls Inc. scholarship, and I was one of the 13 girls nationwide to win it. And I was also College Board's National Hispanic Scholar Recognition. So, yeah.
What would you say motivates you?
I would say just my parents' willingness to set up a new life here. That motivates me every day to try hard.
What do you think about the community of Carpinteria?
It's a great community. I think it's super supportive, and since we're so small, it's so close-knit, and there's a lot of opportunities and support behind you, like in anything you do.
Nice. Mm-hmm. Do you have any favorite places you go to in town, stores or otherwise?
Me and my friends really like to go to Yo Yum or Yummy Yogurt. It's our favorite spot to go to, and I really like it. And we also like Taco Grande. We like getting the jumbo carne asada burritos. Mm-hmm.
The what?
Jumbo carne asada burritos. They're great.
They're good, okay.
They're great.
Any thoughts about Carpinteria High School in general, what you like about it or what you'd like changed?
Since Carpinteria High School has such a small student body, it's really great to see, the same people in different activities you do. And even though it's so small, there's so many different things to do at the school, and really support to build up new things that you want to see at your school.
Do you have any suggestions to other students or their parents of other students how the students can get ahead and do well in school and do well in life?
Do well in life. Get close to your teachers. They're awesome people and they will support you and they want to see you succeed. So I would say get close to your teachers and have good time management. That's a big thing that I think has saved me a lot of nights from staying up late. I do not like to stay up late, so I always make sure to manage my time and manage my workload so that I'm in bed by 10 each night.
And do you have any techniques for time management?
I would say try to get ahead when you can and kind of like putting your phone away somewhere else. Like I like throw my phone across the room when I'm trying to do work because I know it distracts me. If I have it right next to me, I'm going to use it. So,
is there an issue with cell phones and young people these days?
I would say yes. I mean, it's something that, fits in our back pocket and has been used, to communicate rapidly and get all this information at once. And sometimes that can be overwhelming. And I think it's good to disconnect once in a while.
Are you on social media much, and what's good or bad about that?
I am on social media. I have probably everything that's out there, but I think it's important if you are active on social media to know, like when it's time to put the phone down or when, kind of the content you see, knowing what to post and like how to use social media to, like in a good way, not to spread hate.
Do you think parents should limit kids' times on social media? Or would that backfire?
Parents, I think, should not. I think it really shows, trusting your kid enough to know that to use their phone a responsible amount would kind of make them not want to use their phone as much.
Nice.
That trust, yeah.
Have you been bullied, or do you know kids who've been bullied on social media?
I have not been bullied on social media, and I don't know people who have been bullied on social media, but it definitely does happen.
Well, excellent. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just thank you for this opportunity. It's been great, and I'm excited to see who wins. I'm so excited that Hugo and Stephanie are there beside me. So, yeah.
Well, nice chatting with you.
Nice chatting.
Yeah, my name is Hugo Alvarado. I go to Carpinteria High School, and I'm a senior there. And something that I like to do is racing. And
You mean foot racing?
yeah, running, or also watching sports cars or race cars. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah. So.
What do you like about running?
Well, it's team bonding mostly. We get to learn new strategies from each other and new ways that we can improve our running.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, what schools have you been to in Carpinteria, and what do you think of them?
I've been to Catalina, the middle school, as well as the high school. I think they're very nice, and they support, all the teachers there support all the students.
You find the teachers to be helpful, huh?
Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what you want to do yet when you are out of high school?
Yeah, I would like to study computer science and work with artificial intelligence.
Huh. Have you been admitted to any colleges yet?
Yeah, I've been admitted to Occidental, Davis, and UCSB.
And do you know where you're going to go yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, excellent. Congratulations to you. Why artificial intelligence? What attracts you about that subject?
Learn artificial intelligence mostly because of it's just like a brain, and it needs to grow and adapt to everything.
Huh. So you want to be kind of like a teacher or a parent to artificial intelligence brains?
Yeah, it would be cool.
Huh. Do you have any thoughts what areas of artificial intelligence you might work in?
Um, Not really, but just including it into social issues.
Hmm.
And
Like what social issue might be applicable for it?
maybe tobacco, and just finding new ways to implement a law that can be beneficial.
Do you know, are there many teens that do use tobacco or vaping?
Yeah, there's a few that I know that vape.
And what do you think about vaping?
Yeah, I don't think it's a good thing, and it makes people irritated and want to use it every minute or so.
Huh. And so maybe artificial intelligence could help train people not to use it?
Hopefully, or just make it more harder for them to get their hands on it.
Any thoughts about using artificial intelligence for racing?
Um, I know that they use them for finding the best trajectories
For cars or people?
for cars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, maybe for running, it could be helpful too. Just find the fastest line to go on.
I guess artificial intelligence is in the news lately. Do you have any thoughts whether there might be any problems of artificial intelligence taking over?
Well, right now it's a very complex subject. I think we just need to learn more about it before we try and implement it. And yeah, just find the correct way to use it.
Nice. What do you do after school?
After school, I'm either racing or I'm at the robotics club meetings.
Well, in racing, are you on the track and field team?
Yeah, I'm on the distance team.
Huh. Have you been to the Wrestle Cup here in Carpinteria?
Yeah, I've been there. It's pretty cool seeing all the schools get there and reunite.
Yeah, for those that don't know, the Wrestle Cup's a big deal. What is it?
Well, it's a track event that Carpinteria has hosted for pretty much like
Many years.
many years. Yeah.
And do people come up from LA and all over?
Yeah, it's very big, and I think from all the way to North or South LA. So
Really?
yeah.
And what do you get out of running?
Well, I think just working with others, and just being able to have fun out there and de-stress.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing you mentioned is you're in the robotics club. What is that?
Yeah. Well, as a team, we work together to build a competition robot, and yeah, make it move through the course in a fast fashion.
Oh, so is that the challenge, to make something that can move and move through a course?
Sort of. We have to place some cones onto some poles for this year.
You have to place what?
Some cones.
Oh, cones,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's kind of like transportation. Yeah.
Well, for someone that is interested in that but doesn't know anything about it, would they be able to do anything?
Yes, we have many things that we can do, such as building the robot, designing, or even driving it.
Huh, okay. And that must be fun. Are you taught how to make robots in the club, or do you just look that up on your own, or how's that work?
Yeah, well, we have some mentors that help us, such as Mr. Caliente and Mr. Coletti. And, well, they can help us out, but it's mostly independent research and, yeah, just thinking of new ideas.
Nice. Who've been some of your favorite teachers in school?
Yeah, some of my favorite teachers have been Mr. Smith,
In what class?
mathematics, and Mr. Caliente,
What does he teach?
computer science.
Nice.
Yeah. But overall, everyone's my favorite teacher, so yeah.
Well, that's good. Have you won any awards?
Yeah, I've won a certificate in mathematics in engineering and computer science.
Good for you. Have you done any community service?
Yeah, I'm part of Future Leaders, and so that's one of them.
Oh, what is that?
Well, we work as a team to introduce new students to speak up a bit more and think of ways to help their community out.
Huh. So how do you get new students to speak up more?
Yeah, during the summer we have a YLC training, which is a youth leadership camp, and it's our main goal is just to introduce them to just being able to work with others and learn more about college. And yeah, I help there sometimes too.
Tell me, is there anybody that you particularly look up to or is your hero?
Yeah, I would have to go with James.
James, which James?
James Sly.
Oh, the man that owned Sly's restaurant.
Yeah.
Why him?
Well, he helped us move to Carp, and he pretty much helped us pay for the first month of the rent and got us our first computer.
Really? And what do your parents do for a living?
My dad's a chef, and yeah, my mom supports us at home.
Where's your dad a chef now?
In Montecito, where he works at Lucky's.
But did he used to work at Sly's?
Yeah.
Well, that's awfully nice that James Sly helped you to move here. And why do you think he did that? He just so he could have a good chef, or because he's a nice guy? Was a nice guy?
Yeah, I would have to go with he's a nice guy. Yeah.
It must have been kind of shocking when he passed away, huh?
Yeah. We got to see him a few days before, and we were sad that he passed away, but we were glad to talk with him for the day before.
Have you learned any lessons in life yet?
Yeah, I mean, mostly patience. Yeah, I used to work at a very fast pace, and that would mean working mostly by myself at first. And I just had to learn that working with others is more fast. And a saying I've heard is, you may work fast alone, but you can work faster with others. Or on the long run, it's better with others.
And why is that? You get more input?
More input, and you also bond with the team and get to just have fun as well.
Huh. And why is patience good?
Yeah, patience is good because when you overthink everything, it's very stressful, and it affects your mental health and everything.
Nice. Do you have any suggestions to other students coming up through the schools how to do well in school?
Yeah, talking with teachers and asking them questions is important. Without that, you won't get the help you need because there's also many other students as well. So yeah, just raising your hand helps.
Good one. Any thoughts what the pandemic was like?
It's very impactful for many, myself included.
Like how so?
Yeah, I guess focusing on something was very difficult. Yeah, I would sometimes get a bit lost with what I was doing.
What do you think of the community of Carpinteria?
I think everyone's very nice, and yeah, just being so much slower pace than Santa Barbara.
Have you always lived in Carpinteria?
No, I used to live in Santa Barbara.
But you moved here when James Sly helped your family to move here?
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Yeah, my little brother wanted me to say hello to him from here.
Oh, what's his name?
Emmanuel, or Manny for short.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's he like?
I mean, he's taller than me. he got the good side of my sister and I.
Nice.
So yeah.
Your sister's your twin, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we're very competitive with each other.
Is it nice having a twin?
Yeah, it's very nice.
Why? You get support and camaraderie?
Yeah, I mean, just growing up with her, we get to learn from each other's and just push each other along.
Well, thank you very much. Congratulations for being a Junior Carpinterian of the Year finalist, and you're quite talented.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, so my name is Stephanie Ramirez Garcia. I was born in Santa Barbara and I moved to Carpinteria at the age of 4. So I've gone through K through 12 all here in Carp. I played tennis and basketball all 4 years of high school. I'm a first generation student. My dad is from Mexico, and my mom is from Guatemala. And I have a younger brother named Richard who is a sophomore at Carpinteria High School right now.
Nice. Well, what are your plans for the future?
Yeah, so I plan to go to UCLA in the fall to study nursing.
You've been accepted?
Yes.
Great, congratulations.
Thank you.
And why nursing?
Yeah, I think nursing is such a beautiful field. I always knew I wanted to go into medicine. I just didn't know what to go into. And as I started volunteering at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, I got my desire or my dream confirmed basically because I just saw how much nurses are involved in patient care and how they get to create these bonds with the patients and their families and just how much they care for them. Of course, a physician is a great job to have, but they're just in and out of the room, whereas nurses are with patients for like 12 hours and they really get to know them and care for them and know them on a personal level, which is something I really value. And yeah, I also just love like the science aspect. You get to titrate medication and just deal with medical stuff every day. And you never know what's going to happen because each patient is so different. And I think that's what makes it so exciting.
Nice. Well, what lessons have you learned in life? How old are you now, 17?
I'm 17.
Yeah. Have you learned any lessons in life, and do you have any advice to other young people to do well in school and get ahead?
Yeah, so I definitely would say to take it one day at a time, but also plan for the future. Ever since my freshman year, I knew that I wanted to pursue higher level education. Even though I was kind of uncertain on what my major would be, I knew that I wanted to go to college. And so I started taking advanced classes, honors classes, just with the hope of one day achieving my dream of going to UCLA, which thankfully I'm now going to go. And a tip that has helped me immensely that people that have gone before me have told me have been to just, first of all, not procrastinate and do everything on time, because if you don't, then you're going to be doing everything last minute and it's not your best work. And also to just honestly just go for your dreams, even if you think they're unattainable, because I've been proved wrong a lot of times and thinking that things that I've wanted weren't going to happen, and yet thankfully they have. And so definitely just go reach for your dreams. And the worst thing that can happen is that you get disappointed, but you can get right back up and keep on going. So yeah.
That's good. Before you said something to the effect of some kids try to take shortcuts or try to get around. Do you have any other advice?
Yeah, I would just say to honestly try in school because it will pay off. I know that I used to view kind of like schoolwork as just boring and lame, but once you get to those classes that you actually find interesting, for me it was AP Biology. I got to dive into concepts that, although I had brushed over them a little bit in honors bio my freshman year, my junior year I actually started studying them and I was like, wow, I actually like this. And that's why I'm going into nursing, because it has a lot to do with science. But as well as like with history, people always say that history is so boring, and I can definitely see how that can happen for some people to think that, but I find it pretty fascinating just to see how people lived in certain eras of the world and life, and just how they interacted with each other, and we can learn a lot about history and apply it to our present day. And so honestly, you never know. your future career could come from one of these classes. So honestly, just paying attention and realizing what's going on is pretty cool. And when you actually understand what's happening, it makes the class a lot better.
What else do you do outside of school? Well, you do sports. Are you into social media much?
Yeah, I mean, I do have Instagram, TikTok, Snapchat, but it's mainly like to communicate with my friends, but yeah.
Is that a problem, would you say, for a lot of people that they spend too much time on it?
Yeah, I would say some people, if they don't have like control of their time, it can definitely be addicting to be on social media for a long period. I know that's happened to me before, but I've definitely gotten better at it. And sometimes I have to like put my phone in like a drawer and like keep it there and then just focus on my work, because or else I will get distracted. But I think social media can also be really beneficial for spreading awareness about certain issues, and even just connecting with family members who are far away. As for me, in an instance, a lot of my family is in Guatemala and Mexico, and so social media has been a great way to be connected with them.
What would you say are your strong points and weak points?
That's a good question. Let's see. Well, I would say one of my strong points is that I tend to always have compassion for people, even when it may be hard to have compassion for people. I know that I've exercised this strength at the hospital. Sometimes I would have to discharge prisoners in wheelchairs, and obviously society shames prisoners because of like mistakes they've made in the past, but honestly in that moment all I could do was be kind to them. And I know like my coworkers sometimes would be like, I don't know why you're being nice, because they've like messed up. And I'm like, yeah, they have messed up, but who knows, maybe they're trying to be better, or like they also just went through a traumatic medical probably emergency for them to be at the hospital. So honestly, just being kind is something that I definitely think I've been gifted with, and definitely a lot to thank my parents for that, because they've always taught me to have compassion on others, because you never know what they're going through. And one of my weaknesses, honestly, would probably be procrastination sometimes, because I give that tip to other people to not procrastinate, but I've honestly struggled with that a lot, especially with college applications this year. It was so hard because there are strict deadlines, and if you don't make those deadlines, then, well, you miss, the ability to apply to college. But thankfully with Mission Scholars, that program that I'm involved, and I'm involved with, and they help students who are from like low income, first generation households. They help you on the way to college and even in college. And so they would set these strict deadlines like a few weeks before the actual deadline was due, and they would be like, okay guys, if you want help with your essays, then they need to be turned in by this day. And so I'd be like, okay, and it'd be like 1 a.m, and I was like, okay, I need to actually finish this. So procrastination is definitely not the way, because it makes you really tired and exhausted and stresses you out when you could have done it a long time ago.
What are your favorite classes?
Yeah, so over the course of my high school career, I've taken a lot of classes. I definitely say AP World History was one of my favorite classes with Mr. Cotty. Even though it was all on Zoom, basically, for my sophomore year of high school, it was really interesting, and getting to learn about like world history kind of as a whole, and seeing how it has led to where we are now. It's pretty interesting and fascinating. And another class I really enjoyed was AP Biology my junior year. I honestly didn't know what to expect going into it, because the only biology class I had taken was my honors biology class my freshman year, but it was really intensive, a lot of work, but it was really rewarding to see that I passed the AP exam in May. And just being my teacher, Mrs. DeWitt, she was such a help. When I wouldn't understand something, she would always stay with me after class to help me figure it out. And also my junior year, I took AP English Language, and honestly that class has helped me a lot with how I write and affected my writing style a lot, because we learned about the rhetorical triangle and stuff like that, and it's definitely going to help me in college. So definitely probably those 3 classes are my favorite so far.
For those who aren't familiar with the Carpinteria schools, what's it like there? is there much bullying? Is there any violence? Is it
Yeah.
all peace and love?
Yeah, so I mean, I would definitely say that Carpinteria High School is probably the most peaceful campus in comparison to other high schools in the area, thankfully. I think a lot of that is to thank our admin for and staff at the school. And also just kind of the stage of life kids are in. A lot of us are looking towards life after high school, so we don't really want to cause any ruckus while we're at school. And even like the freshmen and sophomores, they are pretty relaxed. And Canalino, it was nice. I mean, I just have good memories of Canalino Elementary. And middle school, obviously, it's like a pivotal time in people's lives because they're going through puberty and stuff like that in middle school. But even then, I'd say all three campuses have been pretty nice, and it's been really nice to be able to grow up with my classmates, many of whom I've had since kindergarten and are still in my graduating class, so it's been really nice to see them mature and grow into who they are.
Have you done any community service?
Yeah, so starting my freshman year in March, I started volunteering at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital as an ambassador. And so basically what that consists of is if you've ever gone into the lobby at Santa Barbara Cottage and you look to your left and you see some people in like green just sitting there, that's where I would be sitting. And I would discharge patients in wheelchairs. So I would get a call from the nurses and I would take up my wheelchair and then take them to their car. And I would also escort visitors to rooms because it's a pretty big hospital and it's easy to get lost. And so I would just take anyone who needed help to their rooms. I would also just deliver patients' belongings that were dropped off to their rooms. And I saw this a lot when we were in the peak of our COVID pandemic because obviously people couldn't visit their family members or friends who were infected with COVID in their rooms. And so it was really sad to see, but I was thankful that I could be the person to take the stuff that they needed to their rooms. And I also, one of my favorite parts was I got to transport blood and plasma from the blood bank to the infusion suite. And it was just really cool that I felt like I was actually making a difference. And I also got to administer COVID-19 tests for certain visitors or family members who weren't vaccinated for whatever reason.
What would you say motivates you?
Yeah, I would honestly, not to give like a cliche response, but I would definitely say my family, both immediate and in Mexico and Guatemala. I definitely think it has been so inspiring to see that my parents both came here around the age of 20 from their respective countries and left behind their huge families just in search of, a better life and a future for their kids. And now that I'm fulfilling that dream, it just makes me so happy to see that their hard work and their worries and everything that the move to the US has brought is finally paying off. And it's just such a nice feeling to see them just not only be proud of me, because I know they'd be proud of me no matter what, they've told me that, but I feel proud of myself that I'm doing something that they've worked so hard for. Even on last Friday, when I found out that I got into UCLA, my dad was right there with me when I opened my decision, and he started crying just as I did, because I think it's just like a moment of realization of how far they've come in this country. And I'm just excited to be able to tell other people about my parents and my family who, even my family right now in Mexico and Guatemala, they're cheering me on and they're so excited for me. Even though they may not know the magnitude that I got into this school, they are really excited for me. And I think that just shows the sentiment that my family has, that we just cheer each other on no matter what. And yeah, so I would definitely say they're my biggest supporters and my biggest inspiration to follow.
Yeah, what do you parents do for a living?
Yeah, so my dad does construction and roofing, so he's self-employed, so just goes from place to place, and currently he's working on getting his contractor's license, I'm pretty sure. And my mom has had a variety of jobs throughout the years, mainly housekeeping or taking care of the elderly. But right now she works at Albertsons and she prepares like produce and stuff like that. So like the guacamole and like the cut up fruit and stuff, she makes those things.
Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Well, I'm just really thankful for this opportunity to be a finalist for Junior Carpinterian of the Year. I saw Eduardo got Carpinterian of the Year or Junior Carpinterian of the Year last year, and he's one of my close friends. And so it's just been really cool to see how he's doing at USC, and even now just being in the same spot that he was in as a finalist is just really insane. I would have never thought that I would be here, and I'm really thankful for that, and I'm thankful for you for interviewing me, and just for the whole Carpinteria community for being so supportive and so loving. And yeah, so I'm just really happy and really honored to be here.
Well, congratulations and best wishes to
Thank you so much.
Your life. Thank you.
My name is Jennifer Foster. I teach at Carpinteria Middle School. I have been teaching here at Carpinteria Middle School for 28 years. I currently teach 6th grade math, 6th grade math plus, and 7th grade math.
Nice. And tell me some about your background before teaching here.
Before teaching here, I started teaching here when I was 24 years old, so you could do a little math problem if you wanted to figure out how old I am. I did my teaching credential at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, where I got my master's degree and my bachelor's degree in mathematics and physical science, so I'm able to teach both a single subject credential in both mathematics and physical science, so I could teach science also. And so I started straight out of college here at Carpinteria Middle School.
And where do you live, and do you have a family?
I live in Ventura. I was born and raised in Ventura. I graduated from Buena High School. My mom was a teacher at Buena High School, and she retired probably about 10 years ago. I'm married, and I have a son, Jacob, who is almost 23, and he's graduating from Cal State Channel Islands in May of this year, and he's going to have a bachelor's degree in science.
Nice.
In chemistry, sorry.
Okay. Well, how would you describe what it's like to teach a group of kids like you have here, and what your teaching style is?
I think my teaching style is, I have very clear expectations. I have really solid routines. I think a lot of the students really thrive in that, so they know what to expect when they come into my classroom. I teach math. I have a wide range of abilities, from really strong math students to students that really struggle. And I think it's important to teach math multiple different ways so that all the students can really learn the content, even the ones that are struggling. So I have them come after school for tutoring or before school for tutoring. And so that's what I want to do.
Okay. Do you know why you were chosen to be honored as an outstanding teacher?
No, I'm assuming they just said that I was going to be the teacher of Carpinteria Teacher of the Year. It's a really big honor. And I really want all of my students to learn. I really believe that all my students can learn. And I just want them to have a growth mindset and be successful in school.
What does a growth mindset mean?
So a growth mindset is where you can have a fixed mindset, and that's the belief that people are born with their natural abilities. Like some students are math students and some students are language arts focused. But a growth mindset is where you can learn from your mistakes and you can build on those mistakes and keep growing your brain and learning from that, and you can have a growth mindset to learn things that you still struggle. So having a struggle in life or a struggle in mathematics is not always a negative thing. It's a positive thing because it just means that you just are going to grow and learn and make those connections in your brain. And it might take you a little while longer, and that's okay because everyone grows at their own rate, right? And so I just really believe that all students can reach the math standards, and which are really hard, and grow to their greatest ability.
And why would you say math is important for kids to know?
I think math is really important. Just like reading and writing, students need to understand and be able to problem solve in real life. They need to be able to budget in terms of everyday math. They need to go into the grocery store and make sure that they're getting the right percentage off if it's something's on sale. They need to make sure that they are all use math every day and everything, wherever you're going. So
It's true, even if you're not.
even if you don't think you're using math, when you're going to fill up your gas tank this morning, I still had to make sure and figure out how many gallons I needed, how much it costs, so that I made sure and had the money to pay for that gas, right?
What would you say it's like teaching here at the Carpinteria Middle School? Is there, can you describe the community here, both the teachers, staff, and students?
I think Carpinteria Middle School is a wonderful place to go. It's a wonderful community of teachers that really care about their students. Every teacher that I know here really wants the students to grow and learn. And it's just a wonderful place to come every single day. I wouldn't be here for 28 years and still teaching middle schoolers if I didn't really like middle schoolers. They're fun. They'll tell you exactly how they're feeling, and every day is a new day. Every day is a little bit different. Nothing's the same. And so you can always just keep on growing and so forth.
Nice. Do you have any stories of something funny or interesting that happened in the classroom?
I think they're all unique and funny. I think it's, as a teacher, that to see them learning and really understanding and having that aha moment is really important to me, because I really struggled in school, and so to help those learners that really struggle in school. So I guess it's not a funny moment, but it's more of an inspiring moment, that it makes me come here every day to still want to teach them and help them grow as learners.
Do you have much of a discipline problem, and do you have any discipline techniques?
I don't have, I think because I am very structured, I don't have necessarily a lot of discipline problems. It's not to say that they're always perfect, but I think if you talk to them about their behavior and you remind them about what's expected, that will help them change their behavior. And then you can always tell them that after, like if you have a consequence or if you have a restorative practice where they would come in and say someone was writing on my desk and they came in and cleaned my desk as their restorative practice, you always remind the students that tomorrow's a new day. So tomorrow's a new day. And we go on, we served our consequence, and we go on, and tomorrow's a new day, and it's a brand new day, and we all just start fresh the next day.
Do you give the kids much homework?
Not a lot. I try to make it so that the kids can really finish most of their homework in class. Not to say that they don't have problems to do at home if they don't finish. We do have Dreambox lessons where it's an adaptive program that's just a mathematical program they can do on their computer, on their Chromebook. And it helps build on concepts that they already know, build on standards that they need refreshers on. So basically their weekly homework is to do 5 lessons on Dreambox, which is about 20 minutes-ish. Not 20 minutes a night, but about 20 to 30 minutes in a week. So that's basically their homework.
Are the kids given a Chromebook by the school?
Oh yeah, every kid has a Chromebook. Every kid uses all of their Chromebooks every day. So all of my lessons on teaching concepts are all done with PowerPoints, and I videotape me going through the lessons then I upload them through Edpuzzle, and then I sign that through Google Classroom. So my lessons are done through Edpuzzle, and then I can add in extra questions to see what the kids know, what they don't know, and then they can take their notes at their own pace. So they can, if they need to go back and relearn something, if they didn't quite catch something that I said, they can pause their video, write it down in their notes, and then keep going. So it's really adaptive and meeting the needs of all the students in the class.
So do you lecture them live, but you also have it recorded?
Sometimes I do live lessons with the students, and then I have a video of me going through the problems that I can post in Google Classroom. Some of the lessons are not live, and they would take their notes and watch the lesson of me teaching the students how to do the concepts through the video.
And so they watch it all individually in here in the classroom.
They watch it in class. So even if they're not in class and they're absent or sick, because we still have some kids that have gotten COVID this year, so they've been gone for a few days, they can still access the content and the material that we're learning in class through Google Classroom and able to watch the lessons so they're not far behind when they return to school.
What was it like during the serious COVID times?
COVID was really hard. I think trying to teach to a screen and little black boxes was extremely difficult.
You mean seeing the kids in the
Right, because you just basically saw the kids in little boxes, and a lot of times they didn't put their cameras on, and we didn't really force them to have their cameras on all the times for a variety of different reasons. But that was very difficult because you can't judge really what the students know and what they don't know. So even though my lessons are still videotaped, I can still go around and see what they're understanding and give them immediate feedback in the classroom and help with those misconceptions that they might have. So on their independent practices, I can go around and help. And so I think getting them back into the classroom was very important to make sure that they're all learning and growing. I still am seeing a lot of kids that have huge learning gaps, and they just still need some more TLC and more remediation and so forth. I think it's going to take a while for them to really get where they need to go. But they all can get there. It's just going to take a little bit more time.
Were there any lessons to learn from COVID, either for you as a teacher or the kids?
I think, well, besides all the technology that teachers now are using more regularly, like the videos and the songs and the, because I really like songs too that help the kids learn, because it's one of the 7 intelligences where they're learning how to do concepts. But I'm sorry, I forgot the question already.
Well, any lessons learned?
I think one of the lessons is that it's really important to, besides the technology, which is really helping kids, right? Because they're all used to the technology, but it's really important to have those connections with people, and to really see that people care about each other and learn to talk to one another and work together, as opposed to always being behind a screen and on their phones. So for me, I think it's really important that the kids talk to one another, learn to work together, and not just always be on their screen. You got to have that happy medium, with everything.
Do you have any advice to parents of kids how to have them do well?
Check in with them, ask them. You could have them go into their Chromebook and say, show me your Google Classroom. All the teachers have Google Classrooms, so parents can see what the students are learning in the class. Show me, what does this assignment look like? What are you needing to do? Having those one-on-one conversations with them, I think, is really important.
What would you say makes for a good teacher?
I think having, besides knowing your content, being compassionate, holding holding the kids accountable, having high expectations, communicating with them, having the students have a voice in the classroom too. So it's really a happy medium where you have expectations about what you expect the students to do in the classroom, but also that they have a voice, that they can also have buy-in, right? And I think it's also important that they can see that they are successful and to celebrate the little successes that they have, because the more you celebrate the little successes, the more you're going to get those bigger successes. Like if you don't do well on a test, it's okay. We can retake the test. We can learn those concepts. We have tutoring after school 3 days a week at the middle school, Mondays, Tuesdays, and Thursdays from 3:05 to about 4 o'clock, 4:05, where the kids can come in and get extra help on anything. And even if some teachers assign tutoring for those kids that are getting D's and F's, but students can just drop in at any time to get extra help from a teacher.
Do you have any hobbies outside of school?
Well, I like to read. My family loves football, so we like the Green Bay Packers, so we watch football a lot. I collect giraffes, so if you were to look around my classroom, I have a lot of giraffes that students have given me over the years, and I still keep them. And so I collect giraffes, I read, my family is really important to me, and some sports.
Have you learned any lessons in life from being a teacher?
Yeah, I think it's important to be flexible. It's important to tell the kids your story. That I struggled in school too, so I understand the students that are struggling. But then I was also with math. I was in the higher math classes, but the lower reading classes, and to show them that you can do it, you can have perseverance, you can do whatever you want, and really believe in them is really important.
Nice. Is there anything else you'd like to say?
Just thank you for this honor. It's very unexpected. I'm very pleased. It's nice to get recognition. You don't always hear parents saying thank you. Most of the emails, not all the emails, but some of the emails are more negative. They could be negative. So it's nice to have a nice positive thing for a job that I truly love. That's not a 9-to-5 job. It's not a come in at school at 8:30 with the kids and leave at 3, because it's a job that you really have to love. It's many hours outside of school to help prepare the lessons and send the emails and grade the assignments, and so it's something that you really have to love.
And the parents can contact you via email if they have
Via email, or they can do the phone, and the students will contact me. So if the students with Google Classroom, they're not sure about an assignment, or they can email me, and then I would get back to them within 24 hours or sometimes that same night. Or if I'm out sick, I can email them back or send a private chat through Google Classroom back to answer their question.
Well, it's very nice to talk to you, and
Thank you.
congratulations.
Thank you.
You must be a great teacher.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that.
Well, my name is Matthew McPherson. I teach here at Aliso Elementary School. I teach special education. I live here in Carpinteria. For the past 6 years or so, I worked down in a neighboring district, Conejo Valley, down in Thousand Oaks. But I'm happy to be here working in Carp at the elementary level. Yeah, I'm a resource teacher, so I teach students with special needs that have IEPs.
And what type of teaching technique does that involve?
For every kid, it's different. It's a unique. So my method in teaching is to teach to each individual child as authentically as I possibly can. So it takes getting to know them. It changes, so I can't pinpoint a single method. But if I'm teaching to kid A and kid B, I kind of grow with them. And the key element is just being authentic with them, being candid with them.
Is it one-on-one interaction, or do you lecture to the whole class too?
I generally have groups of about 5 to 6 at a time. I do have occasions with some students is one-on-one, whether we're working on social emotional goals or if they're in some sort of crisis, we'll go one-on-one, but usually it's small groups of 5 to 6.
And do you have a teacher's aide?
I do for the core instruction. When I'm running my reading and math interventions, I have rotation, so I do have a teacher's aide there, but much of the day it's just myself with the kids.
And what would you say are your good points about being a teacher?
I think humor. I think that kids appreciate humor. Being very honest with them, very clear and transparent about why we're doing what we're doing. The way that I do it is I go and I pull them out of their general education classroom for small amounts of time. And I want to make sure that they know why we're doing that. And I also don't want it to be a secret. I know all of the kids, not just quote unquote my kids, but all the kids are on campus. I get to know, I spend time in their classroom as much as I can. And so transparency is a big part of it for me.
And I see a guitar behind you, a couple. How do you play, and how do you use the music?
I play. I teach kids. I found last year I had a group of kids, the 5th grade group. There were several kids who were interested. They saw my guitar in the room, and I would play for them sometimes. And then the district purchased a few student-size 3/4 scale guitars. So I brought them in, and during lunch, my door is always open for the kids. So last year I was running guitar groups, teaching them different pop songs and chords. And this year the kids have chess is a real big thing now, so I'm running a chess club on campus. So at lunch they always come in to play chess, and after school, 2 days a week, I run a chess club for them. Nice. And that's for all kids. That's not just my kids, but just here on campus for Aliso students.
Do you have any anecdotes of something interesting or funny that has happened in the classroom, or anything you can relay to me?
There's a lot daily. I think one thing, it's not really in the classroom, but I think around the community, because I worked out in a different community prior, and I had, all of my colleagues would tell me I'm so lucky to work in a district that I could drive away and go home and not have to worry about running into kids and at the store. But I love when I run into a kid in the neighborhood here, and then they do a double take, and they say, oh, Mr. Mack, what do you do? Because I'm wearing my Dodger hat and just like a band t-shirt, and they see me. And I think that that's important for them to see that teachers are just people. I'm part of the community. I'm just the guy going to the store to buy milk or whatever. And that makes a big difference on them. And a lot of teaching has caused me to reflect on my past when I was a student. And I don't know at what age I realized teachers were people too. But I always joke with them and say, I'm just Mr. Mack out there. You can call me Matt out there. But I just love seeing them around in the community, whether it's the store, the baseball fields where I coach, wherever, at the beach.
You may have answered this already, but what do you think the students like about your teaching method?
I think a big part of it is humor, and I identify with them. A lot of them remind me of myself when I was younger, especially if they have a hard time with attention issues, tuning into a lesson, or they mess around and want to joke around with their friends all the time. I was an absolute tornado in the classroom growing up, especially at the elementary age. And I tell them that. I tell them stories about when I was little, and I can feel where they're coming from, and I know what it's like to be in their position. And then not being afraid to kind of make fun of myself or to correct myself. If one of the best things is if they catch me make a mistake, I love that, because then it's, everything's a teachable moment. But that really shows them that we're in this together, and really they're also in the driver's seat. They're not supposed to just sit and listen to me fix them, but they're really the main moving factor in their education.
That's nice. Where did you grow up?
I grew up just outside of LA, a little town called Glendora, in the Pasadena area.
Have you worked at a variety of schools in the past?
I started my career about 7 or 8 years ago in Conejo Valley. So I started there. I got my credential through Cal State Northridge, and that was as far as they were willing to go. I was living here in Carpinteria, but that was as far as they could go in terms of their mentors and student teaching. So I was commuting into Thousand Oaks, worked at the elementary level there. Then I moved up to the high school level for several years before moving here home to Carp.
Do you have any hobbies outside of school?
I have a lot of hobbies. Some of them you can see behind me. I love playing music. I love writing songs. So I play guitar, I play chess, I play baseball. I play in an adult fast pitch wood bat league. And I integrate my hobbies with the kids. because a lot of them are surprised to know, some of the kids play baseball and they see that I still play baseball too. They're into music. I let them know what music I'm into. I show them some. So again, that kind of personal side. I like to bring my personality and I try to break down the barriers between my home life and work life because I'm really the same person here and there. So
Interesting. Is discipline a problem?
Discipline is, since the pandemic, we have had a lot of behaviors on school campuses. And this is not just for students with special needs, but there's been a big rise in significant behaviors. I try to take the approach that I'm not in charge of discipline. I'm on the kid's side and I'm here to help them. And I found that when they establish that bond, we see those behaviors diminish. So I work with the administration, but I think that we're seeing a huge turnaround, particularly this school year. This is the first year that has felt normal-ish since the pandemic, because it was pretty rough. And my mindset for the past 3 years has been to just give everybody grace, just give everyone the benefit of the doubt, because I don't know what your living situation is. Everybody's under a maximum amount of stress, so it is possible to kind of see it from everybody's perspective. And to not hide that from the kids, to be very explicit with them and tell them, it is possible to believe two different stories at the same time. Just do whatever we can to help them get through whatever they're communicating to us.
And I guess you have students predominantly Hispanic and Caucasian. Do they get along? Are there any issues that way?
Yeah, I don't see any sort of racial tension or anything like that on campus whatsoever. My son goes here to school, and we have a predominantly Latino population, but that's something that I don't even think about, honestly, when we're here at school. We do try to integrate, with the World Cup. Soccer was a big thing, and there's a lot of cultural aspects on campus that I like to see the students celebrate. A lot of our kids go down to Mexico. We're coming up on spring break. They go out to Mexico, and I love to hear them talk about that and to encourage them to hold on to their identity, whatever their background is.
And it's nice to hear your son goes here. I know some Caucasian parents in town think they shouldn't necessarily send their kids to Carp schools because it's, quote, too much Hispanic or something. But these schools are just as good as any schools, aren't they?
They are, 100%. Yeah, I prefer to have my son attend the school where he's there with his neighbors, kids that we see at the park, kids that we see all around town. They all go here. They're all on the same Little League teams. So yeah, I'm very happy with him going to our public schools.
Nice. You may have also answered this, but what would you say makes for a good teacher?
I think being authentic with the kids and with colleagues and with the families that come to the school. And then the extra element of we're in a role here where we're responsible for so much that we need to give each other, we need to give every child, we need to give everybody the benefit of the doubt right now, because everybody as a community, we've been through so much in the past 5 or so years with the fires and floods and pandemic and you name it, and it's happened to us recently. And I think that we are looked to as role models, and we have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. And the more authentic we can be with them and show them that we are vulnerable too, that helps them kind of open up to us.
Nice. When you talk to parents, what advice do you have to parents to help their kids do well in school, if any?
The thing that immediately comes to mind is just read at home. Read as much as you can, and then...
You mean read to yourself or read to them, or model reading?
Yeah, some parents, if there's a language barrier, I encourage them to read, if you speak Spanish at home, read in Spanish at home. Kids can read independently in whatever language they choose, but just read. I have some kids who have benefited reading through text messages with their friends, because everything they do is written, and that actually has a measurable impact on their reading ability.
Is that a good part of social media, that they're forced to write and read some?
I think so, but then you have, TikTok, little funny videos, and that may not be so beneficial. But yeah, I think the texting element of it is good, because all reading, and I encourage kids to read comic books, graphic novels, whatever it is, just if there's words on a page, read.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, just that I love working here. I live right across the train tracks, so it's nice to work in the community where I live, and I see everybody around town on Little League fields, at the store, at the beach, on Linden, everywhere we go. So it just feels much more, my work feels much more authentic being part of the community than getting in my car and driving away every day and then just, returning to it the next day.
Well, congratulations for being respected for your good work.
Thank you very much.